Is Romelu Lukaku finally set to leave our football club? Today, my friends, I'm here to discuss all the big club news as well as transfer updates we have been learning this past days. I hope you guys enjoy the video. Hit that like button, show some love. It always really does help me if you guys do that. If you like the video, of course, I'm not going to force you to do otherwise. And yeah, that's enough for me. Let's get straight into things. Okay. And to start with the first story, today we have officially signed Renato Veiga. Now, the announcement has not been released at the time of recording, but we know that this deal has been finalized and completed, so I guess maybe tomorrow or maybe later this evening, we'll see the official presentation of the player. But as we knew from yesterday, he completed his medical then. So I'd imagine that will take like 1 to 2 days for the press stuff and photos to get released. But anyway, contract signed, that's done. He's here on an 8-year deal. Today he gave his farewell message to the FC Basel fans on Insta, saying his goodbyes, thanking them for the past season, you know, highlighting the fact that last season wasn't great for FC Basel, who are kind of on the decline right now, and obviously hoping that the club rises and improves in the future. It's interesting though, because a lot of FC Basel fans are kind of just like an absolute shock that they received so much money for Renato Veiga. If they receive half the value we've bought him for, they would have been happy with that. Now, we know that fans can be a bit cynical sometimes, especially when their club isn't doing well. So even if you're doing okay, if you're not the guy who's single-handedly elevating and uplifting the team up to success, then your game is going to be undermined a little bit. However, you know, we can't forget the realities behind this move. You know, for the second half of last season, he missed out on a lot of football. He had like an ankle injury for like 2 and a bit months, and he had a suspension as well too. So he's really only played like half a season of consistent football for FC Basel, and you have to think his trajectory is kind of mad. You know, from going to an Augsburg like last year, where he only played like less than 10 games before things didn't work out there. They decided not to sign him at the end of that 18-month loan spell. They felt like he wasn't good enough at the time, only to like find himself again at FC Basel, growing up quite a lot and showcasing his potential. So I mentioned this point so we can keep things a bit honest. I think if we're expecting him to come in here, be a first team player over Cucurella and others, and instantly just showcase he's better than Calafiori, I think you're doing yourself a disservice and you're getting a bit hyped up by transfer news this summer. Do I think that he's better than Calafiori? No, I think Calafiori is the better player. But do I think that Veiga is a project? Do I think he is someone that can be worked upon over the years? Does he have some exciting attributes that can be developed? Yes, I think so. Of course, he played predominantly as a DM, but with his profiles, with that left foot, I can see how he could be developed to become the inverted fullback that we are clearly hoping to build for Enzo Maresca. I think he can transition quite smoothly into that role, as he's already played games as a wing-back, left side of defense, playing a wide centre-back attacking type of role, and also playing as a DM. So all these positions kind of complement each other to create this current inverted fullback model that I think we like this player for. So I think he's going to require some good work. I think Maresca, who's shown that he can develop young players, he's had a history of doing that at Man City and Leicester City. I think he is a project he will probably accept with open arms. But then ultimately it comes down to the player now, his mentality. How quickly can he adapt to the pace of the Premier League? Because to go from Germany to then go to Switzerland to come to the Prem, it feels in a way that you've taken shortcuts to find yourself at this level. We still don't know whether he's set to remain with the first team even for next season. Let's look at this latest signing of Amorion. Already reports suggest that he may be going on loan to Sevilla, and it's interesting because today Sevilla have loaned out Rafa Mir with an option to buy for €5 million to Valencia. So there is technically a space open for Gu to sign for them, and it just continues this kind of miscommunication where reporters report, yes, these players we're after, they have first team places, whereas the reality can be completely different. And a lot of times we're seeing many examples like this now getting loan moves away. So I've got an open mind around Renato Veiga. As I said, he has some exciting attributes that I feel you could maybe possibly develop something in the player, but football is never that easy. It's never that simple. But regardless, with our emphasis on signing the next great player, signing these wonder kids or whatever you want to call them. We have to show that we are a club that has the environment to cultivate this talent. I've been saying this for years. Have we shown over the past year, past 2, past 5, past 10, we are a football club that can take a player's game that's currently at this level and then take them all the way to up here? We haven't shown that yet, and that is the biggest challenge under this new ownership right now. So my friends, I guess we say welcome Renato Veiga to Chelsea Football Club. Share your thoughts and opinions, and let's move on to the next story. We start off by discussing some interesting updates surrounding Leslie Ugochukwu. Courtesy of The Athletic, it seems like we are set now to review loan options for Ugochukwu for next season, ideally finding him a loan in the Premier League. Now, we only signed him last summer for around 30 million euros on a 7-year deal, and at the time, the plan was for him to go out on loan on Strasbourg for the season. Things never worked out like that because Pochettino kept him in our squad based on his height advantages, because Poch felt like we lacked physicality in the team, hence why Andre Santos got a surprise loan away to Nottingham Forest at the time. For all the promise that this move once showed, unfortunately, Ugochukwu's shown the realities of what development can be like, as he's faced a lot of injuries that have slowed down his progression at this point in time. Now obviously he can still come back. Of course, he's still very young. He's only just turned 20 years old. But now you look at the context of our squad right now. We have a new manager. We've just signed another midfield player. It seems like we are set to reintroduce Andre Santos back into the first team squad, with Lavia now coming back from injury after missing out the entirety of last season. You think to yourself, where is this opportunity for Ugochukwu to get some minutes for next season? It's not there at the moment. So I think it makes sense for him to get a loan move. However, this is where I have my own personal thoughts and opinions around this, because if there's one criticism that I've had for this ownership, it's been the fact that we've looked to do everything all at once. We're already creating a multi-network model. We're already looking to revamp our academy before we've even found success with our first team. It's so much happening all at once, and I feel like these are the consequences that you expect when you force things without actually doing them gradually over time. Because I think to myself, is there a possibility that Ugochukwu can maybe find himself in our first team in the future? I mean, if Lavia, Caicedo, Santos, Fernandez and other players, fulfill their potential like we hope, most likely he may not even have a future here. And then I think to myself, okay, is a move like this made as a financial move, where you think to yourself, let's hoover up a top talent because we feel like if he at least can develop here or maybe elsewhere, maybe we earn a profit of like 10, 15, 20 million euros on top of what we paid for him, and in the end this works out perfectly for us. That could be the case, and I feel like with a lot of the signings we've made, especially these young signings, it feels like most of them have been made purely as a financial move for the future. And it's not like they'll be flipped for like double the value we bought them for. They'll be flipped for like an extra 5 million, 8 million, or maybe even 10 million on top. And ultimately, the reason why I'm saying all of this is because I see it like this. We've divested funds away from the first team to prioritize working on models around the club that are far from coming to fruition. And all the money we could have saved on your Casades, your Ugochukwus, your Washingtons, your Datro Fofanas, those 4 alone, that's nearly like 80 million euros for all 4 of them. You could have used those funds, invested in the first team, and maybe signed that big striker or attacking player that you've been hoping to buy. Obviously, at the time when we were first hoarding these talents, some of us had some of these like inklings about what the future could lead to. However, you're a lot more hopeful at the start. There's lots of great promise. But I think we're starting to see the realities of these moves now, where realistically we'll never have enough minutes to distribute evenly to even give these guys anywhere close to the game time they need to actually develop here. So I think to myself, what is the utility really behind moves like this? And the crazy thing is, if Leslie just remained at Rennes, he'd be in a better place in his career right now, and he'd be playing first team football on a regular basis, which sets him up in the future to become that player that one day will go to a bigger and better club. So my friends, that's the Ugochukwu news out of the way. How do you feel about things? Let us know below. And now we discuss a breaking report coming out from Spain, from Marca, and it seems like we are set to withdraw our interest for Samu Omorodion. Now, I am not surprised by this news whatsoever. The player came out recently to state that he was committed to remaining at Atletico Madrid. And as I've been saying, Atleti would only sell him for crazy money because ideally they want to keep a player they only just signed last season. So if you want to take that star young striker, you're going to have to pay a premium and then another premium on top. But it seems like we are not prepared to pay over 40 million to complete the move. Our final offer was 33 million plus 7 million in add-ons. As I said, the only way I can see anything potentially happening was if Conor Gallagher was included in this offer. However, we value Gallagher at around 55 to 50 million pounds. So there's no way that Atleti would accept anything with fees like this. I think that's kind of been the story of our summer. I think before the summer started, I think we had some ambitions as a fan base where we thought maybe we'd sign 1 to 2 to 3 important players that were needed. And I say this myself because I cover these stories. I've got the reports. I've discussed these same reports that came from The Athletic, The Guardians, all these big publications literally 3 months ago. Not even that long ago. And I think when you see the reality compared to the vision everyone has, it's always two completely different things. The report now mentions that we may turn our attentions back to Adeyemi, but we're learning that Adeyemi is not interested in signing for us because we don't have Champions League football. And I've always kind of thought too, I'm guessing the German players may not have been impressed by how they left the football club. So if you're another German player, are you that excited to want to join us right now? Who knows? But at the moment, we're not fulfilling the career ambitions for players because we're still an unknown quantity. We don't know yet whether our project will kick off finally next season and we start to show results on the field, or if we're still another 1 to 2 years away from even showing the bare minimum. Hope you guys aren't taking what I'm saying as being negative. I feel like I've said this throughout the season. I like to reiterate this every now and again so we can have a balanced perspective of both sides. It's too easy to just believe that yes, what we're doing right now is guaranteed to take us to success because we would have seen more tangible results over the past 2 years. And the thing that has, in my opinion, limited that potential for success has been the decisions that have been made. And as I've said again, I personally feel like if we didn't invest funds into creating a multi-network and creating a revamping the academy and other things like this, we could have prioritized the first team a lot better and had a lot more focus on that. So now that players like Omorodion, even Adeyemi, and other strikers like Sergio and Coates are now off the market, in my opinion, is there any point in making a move for another striker? Now, reports seem to mention that we could come in again now for Jonathan David because he is available for a cut price fee. But then I think, okay, the profile of strikers we're linked with now, they keep evolving, they keep changing. We all thought we were going for this powerhouse, tall, fast, physical striker, but clearly there are no opportunities left like this in the market. So is going for that pacey, in-behind type of striker the best solution for us right now? Or do we just keep what we have, accept that there's nothing we can do this window, and get ready to prepare for next season where hopefully if we get Champions League football, we can raise our ambition levels again in the market? That is what I would do at this point in time because realistically, is Jonathan David going to get 25 goals for us in the season? When you have Nkunku, Nico and all these other guys, I'm not too sure. Why not just keep Roja? If you can get at least 5 to 10 goals throughout the season, that should potentially help us get somewhere. So that's the striker update news out the way. And now we discuss some very interesting reports coming out from Italy involving Romelu Lukaku. Are we finally getting some initial reports suggesting that his future is set to be away from the club? Will he find himself in Napoli? Well, there is some hope now because Italian reports claim that Napoli are set to pay 28 million euros fixed fee plus 8 million in add-ons and offer Lukaku a 3-year deal. Now, this is the most concrete news we've seen in God knows how long. And even though it's still a bit less than the 37 million pounds, not even 37 million euros that we have in Lukaku's release clause, is this money we can say no to? Because Lukaku is on crazy wages. We must get him off the wage bill, that's imperative. And if he doesn't leave this summer, then we're set to make an incredible loss on a player that was once our most expensive buy, but is currently the highest earning player in this club's history, earning around 350,000 a week. It's crazy that when we first signed him all those seasons back, where we thought Lukaku would be the difference between challenging for the league and winning it, that his future has ended up like this, where, you know, he's been getting loaned out to Serie A clubs for fun. And it's just the principle of the fact that we have a top class, consistent goal scoring striker on our books that we just can never ever use for reasons outside of what should matter on the pitch. I think that is the crazy thing around this. And, you know, due to the failures of this Lukaku move, it will always be something in the back of our fans' minds where we're always going to be a bit wary and hesitant when it comes to spending ridiculous money on players, because we have an unfortunate history of most of these players not really adding much to our teams over the seasons. But anyway, Lukaku going is key right now. More sales hopefully means that we can make more ambitious moves. And you think to yourself right now, does this mean there could be something for Victor Osimhen? Because there are some interesting reports coming out from France suggesting that Paris Saint-Germain may be making a 200 million double bid for Kvaratskhelia and Osimhen together. Is that money Napoli can say no to? I'm not too sure, to be honest with you, but it does seem like Victor should be available at a cut price fee. And it's actually kind of crazy when you think that we all thought at one point that Osimhen was guaranteed to be our striker this summer. Let's not forget all those months of reports last season where we were battling for his signature, having meetings after meetings after meetings, even getting like the pre-approval. We had guys like John Obi Mikel, Drogba, getting involved to entice the player to sign for us. We did all of this for Victor, only for the finances in the end to be something that put us off. And it just tells me that finances once upon a time were not going to be the key issue to stop this deal going over the line. It's only become one now, and personally my hunch and personal subjective feeling is missing out on Champions League football has meant that we have to be more responsible with our spending, especially in terms of the wage bills. So as I keep reiterating, if we can't sign some top targets in this window, let's be frugal, let's be smart, and let's come back again next summer. But it's important at least that in this window, we finally sell the high earning wage players, get them out of here, and at least set us up for hopefully a brighter financial future for next season. So my friends, that's the latest news surrounding Romelu Lukaku. And my friends, that's all the latest reports that have come out today. If anything big drops later tonight, of course, I'll be releasing more, but you'll probably catch me again tomorrow for some more videos. And I'm working on other videos outside the news vids because I just need to kind of just like, you know, express myself a bit more creatively now. So I hope you guys get ready to see me tomorrow. Have a good day. Look after yourself. Cool.